Before I start, I want to say I'm not an expert and I advise people to use their own critical thinking and do their own research. In this video, I'm going to make a case why I think vegans are full of it when they criticize animal testing. They would say that animal testing is unreliable and that we have alternatives, but it then begs the question why experts still continue to experiment on animals. A. Those quote-unquote experts are a bunch of idiots and have no idea what they're doing. B. There's some kind of conspiracy going on where they are aware of alternatives and that animal testing is bad, but they still do it. And C. Experts test on animals because there's probably a good reason for it. Even with the flaws, it's still beneficial or maybe even needed. The C answer sounds like the most reasonable answer. On Stanford Medicine's website, it's written that the use of animals in biomedical research is essential in discovery of causes, diagnosis, and treatment of diseases. They also write that some animals are very similar to us humans. On their facts and myths section, they wrote again about it. They also say it's a fact that alternatives are used but cannot replace testing on animals. The University of Cambridge on their website says essentially the same thing. Here's a clip from a video on their YouTube channel.
So cancers are diseases where tissues go wrong, not just cells. So in order to understand how tissues go wrong, we have to have all the cells that are in that deranged tissue and understand how they're all talking to one another and interacting with each other. And the only way that we know of doing that is actually in living tissues as they are. We can't recapitulate that in bottles. Mice are the closest that we can get experimentally to human beings. Obviously, we could get much closer, but then there will be even more problems associated with working with organisms that, if you like, are more intelligent, closer to human beings. And also, mice are relatively easy to breed and maintain and keep going. So they're the best experimental system that we have, even though we would, of course, prefer not to use them.
Each year we get Nobel Prizes in medicine for breakthroughs in science and medicine based on animal testing. I recommend people to check this webpage, which I will link in the description box. It's a short, interesting read. It explains that preclinical trials, where it is both tested on animals and non-animals, are used to see if the drug is safe enough to move to phase 1 human trials. That doesn't mean there would be zero side effects. And phase 1 human trial is also about safety before going to phase 2. And this paragraph here shows the faulty vegan logic. Let's say that we test on humans in preclinical trials like we do with animals, and 92% of the drugs fail in the phase 1 clinical trials. Are we to necessarily conclude that humans are an inappropriate model for humans? Of course not. That would be bad logic. I have seen vegans throw this paper around as a support for their claims, and I have read it, and I don't see how it proves their point. It lists some side effects or flaws of animal testing, but no one claims that animal testing is perfect. It also relies on bad logic, so I have no idea why I should take it seriously. As I said in the beginning, I'm no expert. Research yourself and see what makes more sense to you.